Hello, everybody. I'm with Ollie and Ozzy Otter. Today is Armistice Day, or better known as Veterans Day, and we are going to read from our little golden book, Our Flag. Every country has its own flag. When a ship at sea flies our flag, the ship is saying, I come from America. When you carry our flag, you are saying, I am an American. But our flag did not always look the way it looks today. Once, a long time ago, the people of America had many different flags. They lived in 13 separate colonies, and each colony had its own flag. Maryland was one of the big country of the United States, and it had its own flag. Here's Maryland. The 13 colonies were ruled by the King of England. They did not like being ruled by a king who lived so far away. They wanted to rule themselves. But first, they had to fight a war against the British. In the early days of the Revolutionary War, the Americans still carried their old flags into battle. They needed one flag that would stand for all Americans fighting for freedom together. It was drawn and made. It showed a flag colored red, white, and blue. There were 13 red and white stripes and 13 white stars on a field of blue. The American flag was to have a star and stripe for each of the 13 colonies. Who sewed the first flag? No one really knows. But some people believe it was Betsy Ross. They say she took some bolts of cloth and cut 13 red and 13 white stripes. She cut 13 white stars and one large blue square. And then Betsy Ross began to sew. At least the first stars and stripes were finished. It was a beautiful flag, said General George Washington when he saw it. The new flag was carried into battle for the first time when the American ship Ranger met a British warship at sea. It was a hard fight, but the Ranger won. The American soldiers fought many battles against the British. The last one was at Yorktown in Virginia. The Americans had won the war. Now the world had a new country, the United States of America. The new country began to grow. 2 new states joined in. Then 2 more stars and 2 more stripes were added to the flag. Then the United States and England fought a second war, the War of 1812. The brand new flag with 15 stars and 15 stripes waved over Fort McHenry near Baltimore. Although the British warships fired their cannons at the fort, but the flag did not go down. The American soldiers were not surrendering, and they won the battle. Every country has its own song. Our country's song, the Star-Spangled Banner. It tells the story just told at Fort McHenry and how the flag was still flying in the morning. More states joined the country, but more stripes on the flag would have made it look too crowded. Something had to be done. It was decided that the flag should always have 13 stripes for each of the 13 colonies. Every time a new state joined, another star would be added to the flag. Our country grew very quickly. When the American people saw how many stars their flag soon had, they were very proud. Then war broke out between the states. of the North and the states of the South. The soldiers of the South carried their own flag into battle. It was called the flag of the Confederacy. The North won the war, and again the country had one flag, the Stars and Stripes. America grew and grew, and last it had 48 states. Now the flag had 48 stars. This was when our great grandfather was a boy. Many years later, during World War II, American Marines won a famous battle on an island called Iwo Jima. The year was 1945, and the victory flag they raised still had 48 stars. 13 years after Iwo Jima, in 1958, Alaska became the 49th state. The next year, in 1959, Hawaii became the 50th state. Today, our flag has 50 stars, 1 star for each of the 50 states, and it has 13 stripes, 1 for each of the original 13 colonies. The stars and stripes of our flag tell the story of America from the very start until today. The pledge is a promise when boys and girls at school pledge their allegiance to the flag. They promise to be good Americans. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. That is our story for the day at Little Golden Books, Our Flag. Ollie and Ozzy Otter would like to thank all the veterans out there, past, present, and future veterans. Thank you for your service to this country. Good night from Ollie and Ozzy Otter.